Somehow the Oscar nominees are being announced tomorrow. I don't know how that has crept up on us so fast. I feel like award season has just flew by so quickly this time, even though we've still got a long way to go. I mean, the Oscars aren't until March. But I feel like this date has just came upon us very quickly. Some of my favorite film content on the internet is watching people try and predict the Oscars. So I thought, why not throw my hat into the ring, document this process so that I can look back on it and see how right or wrong I was. So without further ado, I think we should just get into it because I realize I need this video up before the nominees are actually announced tomorrow. Okay, starting off with the big award, Best Picture. I think there are 5 films which are locks. I think One Battle, Sinners, Hamnet, Marty Supreme, and Sentimental Value are locks for this nomination. I don't see any of them missing really. Frankenstein, I was hesitant about the entire year. Netflix had quite a few contenders in the race, and I wasn't sure which one was going to kind of be their lead horse for this race. But it seems to be Frankenstein. Frankenstein's done very well in other awards bodies. By the way, I'm removing my personal feelings about a lot of these movies and just trying to get the most accurate predictions possible. So I think Frankenstein will probably make it. It's such a technically heavy movie, and I don't see it missing any of the like technical below the line awards that it's going to go for. So I think this will easily get in. And weirdly enough, I think Begonia will easily get in as well. I was kind of skeptical about this throughout the entire year, even though I love that movie and I think it would be deserving of this nomination. There's just something about Yorgos movies that I don't know if the Academy would find too weird, and I think Begonia maybe leaned on the weirder side. Even though Poor Things I think is a weirder movie, I don't know, something about Begonia strikes me as less like palatable for the Academy. But I think this will get in. It has a pretty good package as well with its actors. I think Emma Stone will get in, and there's a possibility that Jesse Plemons might as well. Next, now this is kind of where I don't know, I'm skeptical about my choices. I have The Secret Agent getting in, and I think this will. Having seen Kleber Mendoza, Fijo, and Wagner Moura talk about this movie actually, and talk about how big of a deal it is in Brazil. It's huge over there. It's the equivalent of a blockbuster, and how well it's been received elsewhere internationally. I think Wagner Moura, coming off of his Best Actor win as well at the Globes, does a lot for this movie. I think it's very culturally relevant as well, so I could see that getting in. Next, now, I honestly did not think this would make it in. Out of all the Netflix movies that I thought were going to be going for awards, I didn't think Train Dreams would end up here, but I have it in at the moment. It seems to be really picking up steam, and because the voting happened very recently, I think this is one that is maybe on people's brains quite a bit. It's gorgeous, it could have an acting prospect. I think it will get in some below the line awards, so I have that in for now. And then in my final place, It Was Just an Accident. I'm not super confident in this getting in, even though it won the Palme d'Or. Like, you would think this would get in, but out of the movies from Cannes, Sentimental Value seems to be the movie that's, I don't know, the American awards ceremonies seem to be going for more. I think with Panahi being the director that he is, I think they will give this movie some love. I am skeptical because the anonymous ballots that came out, so the voters who vote on the Oscars, some of their ballots are given to the press anonymously, and you can see what they voted for, and F1 kept coming up. Now, I know it hasn't really appeared in other award shows, but I kind of wouldn't be surprised if this somehow makes it in. We don't really have any other like massive blockbuster in here. I guess Sinners would kind of take that spot, but it feels slightly different. With Wicked for Good, I don't think that's getting in. But with that gone and Avatar gone, because again, I don't think that's getting in either, there is like a vacancy for a blockbuster that I don't know, I could see F1 getting in there. And I have no other choice as well. I sadly don't think this is going to get in, but yeah, I guess it wouldn't be so surprising if that did make it into the final slot. Okay, Best Director. I'm kind of keeping these to the 5 that I think I'm going to get nominated, and then a few on the peripheries that might slide in. I have Paul Thomas Anderson. Easily, he's getting in. Ryan Coogler, easily. Both of those films are going for a stupid amount of nominations. I will be so shocked if either of them miss. I think especially Coogler, because there seems to be a sentiment around Sinners that it's not getting as much love as it should. I think they will make sure that he gets in here, I hope. Chloe Zhao, I don't think misses for Hamnet. She was a darling of the Oscars with Nomadland, and her directing sublime. I think she's getting it. And I think Josh Safdie is as well for Marty Supreme. I think there's a lot of love for Marty Supreme out there, especially with its awards distribution. well, I'm predicting. So I don't think that he misses here. The final slot I'm having a little bit of a hard time with because between the three that I have, I could see them all getting in. I think Panahi would be not necessarily the right choice, but a more political choice, I guess, for the Academy because of who Panahi is and the efforts that he goes to make his film. And what with this film being like the biggest that he's had, I could see them going for him, and I think it'd be really justified. I could also see them going for Guillermo del Toro. He's people love him. There was in the anonymous ballots, somebody said that they would vote for a Guillermo del Toro movie no matter what it was. I think that just goes to show how much love there is for him. But ultimately, I went with Joachim Trier. I think Sentimental Value is going to clean up. It's going to be the international hit. What with, I mean, it has maybe 4 acting prospects, which is just crazy. And often awards coincide with each other. So I don't know. That's what I'm going with for now. This could change between when this is published and when the nominations happens. But I'm sticking with Joachim Trier. Okay, Best Actress. Jessie Buckley is easily getting in. There's no question about that. I think the same with Rose Byrne. She's been cleaning up at other award shows. She won at the Golden Globes, so I don't foresee her missing. Same thing with Renata Reinsva. I think she's easily getting in. And I think Emma Stone is as well. She's a darling of the Oscars. She's won twice. I think they will award her here. I don't see her missing. So the 5th slot is hard. I've went with Chase Infinity because she has been cleaning up at other award shows. And she is the centerpiece of that movie. It's a very different performance as well. So I could see them wanting to award it. The only other person that I could see maybe sneaking in would be Kate Hudson. She has had a few awards for Song Sung Blue, or a few nominations at least. And it is that kind of role that the Academy does go for, this transformative biopic role that is quite heavy emotionally. I would love to see Amanda Seyfried there. I don't think she's going to get in. The Testament of Anne Lee has been completely ignored kind of this award season, which is a real shame because I think she would entirely be deserving of this nomination. But yeah, I'm going to stick with Chase Infinity for now. Best Actor, again, I feel like the first few of all of these categories is very like easy to predict. Timothée Chalamet, Leonardo DiCaprio, and Ethan Hawke, I think are all getting in. Ethan Hawke might sound like a wild card, but when you hear about people talk about Blue Moon, myself included, they talk about Ethan Hawke as one of the best performances of the year, one of the best aspects of that movie. I totally foresee him getting this nomination because the movie hinges on him. Then I have Michael B. Jordan. I don't think he misses here. He has been getting love elsewhere. I know the conversation surrounding him is a bit weird at the moment, I guess, because people are pitting like him and Timothy against each other. I don't think any of that matters for the nomination. I think he's getting in. And the last slot, I think would go to Wagner Moura, especially after his win at the Golden Globes. I kind of am locked into that 5. I would love it if Jesse Plemons got in. I don't think he will. I think he has less of a chance anyway than Wagner Moura. And Joel Edgerton, I don't know. He might get in, but I'm pretty confident with my 5 there, I think. Best Supporting Actress. This might be the hardest category to predict, in my opinion. I have Tiana Taylor. I think she's easily getting in. She's won places. She is being showered with awards. I don't think she's going to miss. And I also think Amy Madigan is going to get in, which is crazy to say, but she has done very well in other awards bodies, and I think they will give her love here. She has a narrative as well for getting this nomination. I think the person to get in from Sentimental Value would be Inga over Elle Fanning. I think she has more of a consensus as the better supporting actress in that movie. She has been given love at other award shows, so I'm going with her. Then this is where I feel a little like I don't know what I'm doing. I have in Wunmi Misaku for Sinners because she has done very well. I don't think people were predicting her early on, but as award shows have given out their nominations, she's done very well. So I have her in. And then I'm taking a risk, I think, with Odessa Zion. Out of the Marty Supreme supporting actresses, she is getting more love than Gwyneth Paltrow. At the start of the year, I thought Ariana Grande was getting this no matter what. And she got her SAG nomination, but then since then hasn't really been given much love. And I don't know if they're going to want to nominate a role which she's already been nominated for. So I've taken her out for now. I could also see Elle Fanning getting into that last slot if they really love Sentimental Value, which I'm not too sure. I think with the trajectory of when they voted and how films were perceived and what was going on at the time, I think Odessa Zion is probably more likely to get in for Marty Supreme, because that film, I think, is more likely to receive more acclaim across the board. But who knows? I'm gonna stick with those 5 for now. Again, this is one that I might change like minutes before nominations. This is the easiest category, in contradiction. I think Best Supporting Actor is kind of locked in with the 5 that are there. Stellan Skarsgård for Sentimental Value. Jacob Elordi, he had a win. I think he's really strong in this category as well. Benicio del Toro and Sean Penn for One Battle After Another. The places of the slots that I have them right now, I guess, is my likelihood that I think they'll win. Currently, I think they might split the vote, which is why I have them lower, but I still think they'll get a nomination. And then Paul Mescal for Hamnet, he hasn't really missed either, and I think he'll get in. Adam Sandler and Delroy Lindo, very small chances that they sneak in. I really think that is the 5 that's going to get it. Best Original Screenplay, Sinners, easily getting this. Marty Supreme, easily getting this. And Sentimental Value, easily getting this as well. I think the 3 of them being Best Picture nominees, well, I think they will be. I think that coincides very well with screenplay normally. So I think the 3 of them will clean up here. It was just an accident. I really hope that this gets a nomination here. I think if Panahi fails to get into director and the movie failed to get into picture, I still think it would end up getting this nomination because of the other films that are competing against it. And then my 5th slot, I really had a hard time choosing this. I was between Sorry Baby and Blue Moon. Normally there is a sole screenplay nominee that doesn't get any other like nominees elsewhere, which would be Sorry Baby in this case. And I think especially after Julia Roberts' speech at the Golden Globes, that was prior to voting for Academy members, I think that will have put some members onto Sorry Baby, and I hope that it's maybe represented here. But also Blue Moon does have an actor getting in nomination wise, so maybe that could help it. Ultimately I went with Sorry Baby. I really do think that last slot will be between those 2, possibly The Secret Agent as well, if they want to give that film a lot of love, and a very outside chance that Weapons gets in, but I think it'll be those 4. And then I really am unsure that 5th slot, but I'm going with Sorry Baby. Best Adapted Screenplay, One Battle After Another, Hamnet, Begonia, I think are all easily getting in. They are getting in for Best Picture, so I don't think they'd miss here. I think Train Dreams, that being such a righty movie and having moments that stick with people, and people feel like they're getting like an experience out of that movie, I think it'll show up here. The last slot I think will go to Frankenstein. I think the love for Guillermo del Toro will push this into getting a nomination here. It's also getting a nomination for Best Picture, so I don't know why it would miss. As an outside pick, I have no other choice, but yeah, I think these 5, I think that's what it's going to be. International Feature, again, I think the top 4 here are secure. The Secret Agent, Sentimental Value, it was just an accident, Seurat. I think they're all getting in because of the love that they're getting elsewhere. I mean, this is maybe shaping up to be a very international year, so I foresee them all getting in. Seurat got a lot of love on the Oscar shortlists, and I think that is telling that it'll just get a nomination here. No Other Choice I am worried about, in the sense that that would be 5 Neon movies all being nominated for International Feature, which just would be crazy. And I think if any of them were to miss, it would be No Other Choice. And I think The Voice of Hind Rajab could get in. It is a very politically relevant movie at the moment. It's a great movie as well. Go see it if you've not. And it depends if they wanted to uplift a movie like that and put it on this like ceremony. I do think when it comes to international features, that is maybe a mindset that the Academy has a little, but I have went with No Other Choice. I just think it's more populous as well. It's done incredible numbers for Neon, so perhaps it gets in. I'm going with that for now. Okay, documentary feature. I don't really have much thoughts on this. I've went for what the pundits are predicting. I have switched a few. So I have The Perfect Neighbor and 2000 Meters to Andrifica. Both of them seem to be getting in, like in other places for documentary. The same with The Alabama Solution. So I have that in as well. I also have put in Cover Up though, because the director of that movie, Laura Poitras, she's gotten in before for her other documentaries. So they seem to like her, so I've put that in. And then I've also put in My Undesirable Friends Part 1, Last Air in Moscow. This has been getting buzz in other documentary kind of places. So I put that in. I think the other two that are down there were what the pundits were predicting, but I just switched them out, I guess, as a risk. Animated feature, K-pop Demon Hunters is winning this so easily. Zootopia 2 getting in, Arco getting in, Little Amelie, or the character of Rain, I also think is getting in. All of them have been getting in everywhere. I think Elio will probably be the other movie to get in. They love Pixar, even though it wasn't particularly well received, I guess, from a box office point of view. I still think they'll want to give it an award. The other movies that I could see getting in would be perhaps Demon Slayer. Demon Slayer has gotten awards elsewhere, or nominees elsewhere, so that could get in. And Nezad 2 as like a long shot, I really don't think that's getting in though. Cinematography, I have Sinners, One Battle After Another, Frankenstein, and Train Dreams. I think they're all locks for this category. The last spot, I had Hamnet in for the longest time, but Hamnet is not being like nominated in this category in other places, which is shocking. I think it missed the long list for British cinematography, and it being a British movie as well. I just think it's bizarre. Lucas Zal, as a cinematographer, has had a lot of love from the Academy, even in movies that weren't nominated a ton. So I thought he would get in with this being such a massive movie as well, but it doesn't seem to be for some weird reason. But somebody that does seem to be getting in a lot of places is Marty Supreme, and Darius Khondji is beloved by the Academy. So I've went with Marty Supreme for now. I really don't know. I think sadly Hamnet is probably going to miss this nomination, which baffles me. Editing, One Battle After Another, Sinners, Marty Supreme. I think they're all getting in. I think that this is just a trend with the below the line categories. I think you have a higher chance of getting in if you are Best Picture nominated. So that's where my rationales came for a lot of these. I then have F1 getting in. This has had love elsewhere. There's sometimes a correlation between editing and sound as well, and I think F1's getting in for sound. So I think it'll get this nomination. And my last slot, I put Hamnet for now. I can see Sentimental Value or Frankenstein getting in. Hamnet has had a lot of love in different places. I'm not sure. It just feels right. Production design, I have Frankenstein, Hamnet, Sinners, Marty Supreme. I think they're all getting in easily. Again, this sort of correlation between Best Picture and these below the line categories. I think the last slot will go to Wicked for Good. The Avatar movies have had like love in this category before, but I think the Academy is just over Avatar now. Avatar has not been getting love in other places, and I don't think it's suddenly going to get a bunch here. And a lot of conversation surrounds Wicked for Good for the crafts that, you know, that movie had. I think as well there's just a lot going on in that movie, so it makes sense. A long shot, One Battle After Another, but I don't think so. Costume design, I have Frankenstein, Sinners, Hamnet. I think they're all getting in. I think Wicked for Good will get in as well. They awarded the first movie. I think the work in the second movie is completely different to the first, so it makes sense to award the crafts here. And then the last slot, I really don't know. I have struggled with it, but I've put Hedda. If you've seen the movie Hedda, the costumes are outrageous. They are so elegant and opulent. It is a like large part of that movie. Similarly though, I think the same thing about The Testament of Anne Lee. It's period piece. There's in like massive amounts of clothing. There's so many extras. It's a gorgeous film when it comes to costumes and stuff. So I honestly think it'll be between them. Marty Supreme, I doubt it because I don't think the movie showcased the costumes well enough. I've went with Hedda. I think it suits what they normally go for. And as I said, the costumes are gorgeous in that movie. Makeup and hairstyling, I think this is pretty easy. Frankenstein, Sinners, Wicked for Good, One Battle After Another. All of them have some sort of transformation. Frankenstein with Frankenstein's monsters, Sinners, the vampires, Wicked for Good with Elphaba, and it was also awarded here before. And a variety of other things with that movie that makes it separates it from the original movie as well. One Battle After Another for Sean Penn. I think the makeup work at the end that he has, that is enough to get a nomination in here, especially if the movie is as strong as people think it is. In the last slide, the Smash Machine, I think purely based on the transformation that The Rock goes on. They love transformations in this category specifically. So I think that will get in. Maybe Marty Supreme. I walked away when I watched that movie thinking, oh wow, it's so cool that they showed real people and real skin on screen, and then didn't really think that, you know, that's makeup. Timothée Chalamet doesn't look like that, like acne scars and things like that. So I personally thought it was really impressive, and if they really do love that movie, they might give it to that instead. But I'm gonna go with the Smash Machine. They love that kind of stuff. Visual effects, Avatar's winning this, surprise. F1, Superman, I think they're all fairly obvious considering the long list and the other awards that they've got. The thing that might be a long shot here is the long bus. If you look at where this has been awarded, I think it was like the visual effects like awards. This did really well. And this is one of these categories that's based off of presentations. So each of the movies has to present why like it should win. And I think if it's done very well elsewhere and it has a presentation, I think this will get in. And I think Wicked for Goodwill, they kind of like creatures and monsters and animals, and there's so many in that movie. I think that probably has the biggest shot of getting in. Frankenstein, maybe. I don't think the work. I think actually a criticism of that movie is the visual effects. And then possibly Sinners, but I don't think there's as much in that movie as there is in other movies. So sound, I have F1 and I have it winning. I think the marketing that they did for the sound for this movie was brilliant, but I also think the sound itself in that movie is great. Sinners, one battle after another. Frankenstein, again, all those kind of best picture nominees that will get in here. And then I have Avatar Fire and Ash. Now I would love it to be Sarat. I think it'd be interesting if it would be Sarat as well, and given that again this is one of those categories where it's a long list and they give presentations, it would be interesting to see if they could get in here. But I think Avatar is more likely. Creating that world doesn't exist, and part of that is the sound design. So I think that's probably most likely. Maybe long shot Wicked for Good. Score, Sinners, One Battle After Another, Marty Supreme, Hamnet. I think they're all kind of low. Hamnet maybe less so because of Max Richter's kind of controversy about the ending piece of music of that movie being used in so many other places for an emotional reaction. But I still think the score that was built around that piece of music is good enough for this to get in. And I think Begonia will get in. Jerskin Fendrix has had some love before. I think that's most likely to get in. I could also see Frankenstein and F1, but I'm going with Begonia for now. Original song, Golden, K-pop Demon Hunters. It's probably winning as well. I Lied to You, Sinners, The Girl in the Bubble, Wicked for Good, Train Dreams. I think they're all getting in. They've had awards elsewhere. And I think the last slot is probably going to go to Dear Me, Diane Warren, Relentless. If you know the Oscars, you know that every single year Diane Warren, without fail, gets a song in. So I think she'll get a song in again. Maybe Long Shots, No Place Like Home, or Last Time I See the Sun, but I don't think they're getting in. And the shorts, I really have nothing to say on the shorts. I haven't seen any of the shorts yet. It's not something that I keep up with. So I have went for what the pundits are saying for all of the shorts, basically. I have no more information to give than that, so apologies, but I'm excited to see these shorts when the nominations get announced. And that wraps it up, I guess. That is my Oscar nominees predictions. We will see tomorrow how right or wrong I am. It's always fun seeing what the percentage is at the end of the day. Normally I get about 85%, so aiming that or higher would be very cool. Make sure to stick around. I will have a reaction video tomorrow, which should be fun, to the Oscar nominees, and also a video essay is coming soon, so keep your eyes peeled for that. If you like this video, give it a like and subscribe, and if you want to keep up with my daily thoughts on film and TV and all that stuff, you can follow me on Insta and TikTok at foundinframes. Until next time, I will see you shortly.